Hey guys, what's up? This is Bret. Welcome to this week's Friday on the Turntable. Before we get started on today's feature, I just have a special announcement to make. Here on my Life on This Planet blog YouTube channel, I have surpassed the 500 subscribers mark. So I would like to thank all you guys out there for watching, for subscribing, for commenting. Yeah, what can I say? It's great to be able to talk about music with all you guys out there. To share music that I enjoy, to discover new music, and to make friends with all you guys out there. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Woohoo! I think I'm at 506 since I crossed the mark last night. So thanks again. So today I am talking about the band Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, specifically about their second album, 1980s Organization. Now, as usual, before we talk about the album, I'm going to just give you 5 records that also came out in 1980, just to give you the context of that album's release. First one is U2's Boy. Simple Minds, their third album, Empires and Dance. The Damned's Black Album. David Bowie's Scary Monsters, and Super Creeps, and of course, I could not leave this one out. One of the greatest albums of all time, Joy Division's Closer. And I should also mention here that that copy of U2's Boy that I showed you was a gift from John Staffsowell, so thank you for that. This is, I believe, a Portuguese pressing of U2's debut album from 1980. So, OMD, Organization. This was also added to my collection by John Staffsowell, who gave me that. And interesting little tidbit here before I talk about that is their debut album also came out in 1980. So back then, bands released albums a lot more frequently. Their first album came out in February of 1980, and it was just self-titled. And their second album came out in October 24th. In the US, neither the first or the second album were released initially. So in the US, what they did is they put together a compilation that looks like the artwork to the first album, and it combines tracks from the first two, and this is that one. And it looks, you know, it has the same picture that's on the back of Organization, as you can see there. But like I said, it has tracks from both albums on that. So that's a cool one to have. Probably a little bit more easier to find in the US, that edition there. So the band was formed in 1978 by Andy McCluskey and Paul Humphreys, a UK-British band. And their early sound, you know, my first exposure to OMD was back on the Pretty in Pink soundtrack when I was a kid in the mid-'80s. And the track If You Leave, which was an excellent single, but not quite indicative of what their early sound was. So if you're only familiar with OMD from that era and later, I cannot recommend their earlier stuff enough, because it was something I was kind of oblivious to for a long time, and then started discovering their earlier albums, like Organization, and was just really blown away. It has a very Joy Division edge to it. Even the artwork for the Organization album was done by Peter Saville, who did the Joy Division albums. And so what was I going to say? Yeah, it's very stark, dark. I think Andy McCluskey's bass playing is pretty underrated. I think it's very significant to the band's sound. And it really is brooding and dark, and at times, you know, the music can have this upbeat, like on the first song and the single from the album, Enola Gay, has this really upbeat dance, kind of poppy 80s sound, but, you know, the whole premise of the song is talking about Enola Gay, which was talking about the bombing of Hiroshima in World War II. Enola Gay was the name of the bomber, the bomber that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, and the bomb was actually called, what was it called, Little Boy? I think it was called Little Boy, and that is referenced in the song Enola Gay. So that was Enola Gay was the only single released from this album, and John Staffsowell Yeah, you know, wow, I'm just realizing that these are all from you. He sent me this as well, and this is the UK single for Enola Gay. Great song if you haven't heard that. This is Enola Gay backed with a non-album track called Annex, and UK. And this was released on Din Disc, and this copy that John sent me of Organization is also released on Benelux, so I'm not sure if this is a Dutch pressing or what. I'm going to have to investigate a little bit more on that. But like I said, that was the only single on the album. And this was produced by a guy named Mike Howlett along with the band. And Mike Howlett worked with Tears for Fears, Gang of Four, Thompson Twins, The Alarm, Hunters and Collectors, Flock of Seagulls, etc. And what's also interesting about him is he was the bass player and primary lead vocalist of a band that featured Sting, Andy Summers, and oh my god, I'm blanking out. The three guys from The Police. and then they went their separate ways and formed The Police, and he was the other guy in the band, so that's a little interesting little tidbit there of information about the producer for this record of OMD. Let me see here what else I wanted to touch on. As far as my favorite songs on this one, Enola Gay is outstanding. I mean, it's a killer single. The song Statues, which is a really kind of slow, really dark track, which really reminds me of Decades, the closing track off of Joy Division's Closer. Another one that I wrote down is the second song, which is called Second Thought, also excellent. The Misunderstanding, which which is a great song as well, and then Motion and Heart, which is kind of jazzy, and it's got some great piano lines in there. And there is one cover song on this one, which is The More I See You, which is on side B. The More I See You was written by Harry Warren and Mark Gordon. You may know them from the the old-fashioned songs like Jeepers Creepers and That's Amore and I Only Have Eyes for You. Now, I never got to see OMD live. You know, they're still back together. They went their separate ways sometime in the 90s, and Andy McCluskey continued the band. But they've since reunited. They put out a couple albums, and I just, when Coachella was a couple weeks ago, I was able to just sit on my couch and stream that on YouTube and watch their performance at Coachella, which I found to be actually really enjoyable. I really like how they just embrace their their age in this era of music, and their performance was just really sincere, and it was just great. It was like stepping right out of the 80s, and there was nothing ironic about it. It was just really, really great, and it was a good showcase to see them and to play their instruments. And I really enjoyed that. They just also put out a new album just a month or so ago called English Electric. Highly recommend. I've been listening to that one actually on my iPod, and was really impressed when I saw a video for this song Metroland, which is like a 7 or 8 minute track from the new record. And then when I downloaded it, a track that really just immediately grabbed me was called Helen of Troy. So if you haven't checked out their new stuff, Helen of Troy and Metroland from the new album English Electric, highly recommended. So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to touch on. Oh, that band that they were in with Sting, Andy Summers, and boy, I'm really blanking on the drummer. I usually know this information, but for some reason it's slipping my mind. Strontium 90 was the name of that band. So with that, I will close and say, there's been a lot of people showing OMD records recently. I know I just saw a couple of videos with Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame, and Gil showing a little bit, kind of a collection of a best of. But I highly recommend you guys, anyone out there that is unfamiliar with the earlier years of OMD, to check out this one, the self-titled one, Architecture and Morality, all really solid releases. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for subscribing. I'll talk to you soon.